Today we'll start with रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी से स्टार्ट करेंगे. तो ही इज द वन जिनको सबसे ज्यादा एसोसिएशन चेतन महाप्रभु का इन्हीं को मिला था. एंड इनफैक्ट इवन चैतन्य चरितामृत भी जो है उसमें जो मेजर पार्ट है, यू कैन कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी, ही इज एक्चुअली डिसाइपल ऑफ रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी. तो उन्होंने ये जो उनको बताया था अंत लीला, तो एटलीस्ट अंत लीला तो पूरा जो रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी ने इनको बताया वो वही उन्होंने दिया है. तो ही इज काइंड ऑफ, यू कैन से, इज वेरी, मतलब यू कैन से इनडायरेक्टली ही इज द राइटर, इज द लास्ट पार्ट. एंड बिकॉज तो इनका काफी बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन. एनीवे वी गेट टू नो मोर अबाउट हिम. और यह एक चीज और है कि हर एक चैप्टर के एंड में चेतन चेताब में आप देखोगे तो हर एक चैप्टर के एंड में ये बोलते हैं कि रूप रघुनाथ पौधे पौधे जा रहे आश आस चैतन्य चरित्रामृत कहे कृष्णदास. तो एट एवरी हर एक चैप्टर के एंड में ये बोल रहे, प्रेइंग एट द लोटस फीट ऑफ श्री रूप एंड रघुनाथ and always desiring their mercy, I Krishnadas narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So yeah, he's very, anyway, prominent. We'll start. Raghunath Das Goswami is known as one of the six Goswamis of Vrindavana, the primary disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Although there are teachers who today carry the title Goswami or its derivative Swami, literally one who has mastered his senses, they generally fall short of the standard set by the six Goswamis under discussion, who, according to the Vaishnava tradition, are considered more than mere theologians or even great saints. They are eternal associate of the Lord, descending to assist him in his mission of reclaiming the fallen conditioned soul. Yeah, yesterday I think Rishika Mataji was asking this question. Why these six Goswami in paid for mercy came? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave his association instruction. So they are not ordinary personality, they are eternal associates of the Lord. So they assist him in his mission. What mission? Reclaiming the fallen souls. So we are reading this for what? To develop that love what they have. It's not a story, so to say, but we learn so much. Yeah, in this context, the six Goswamis are viewed as Manjaris, the intimate maidservants and assistants of Radharani in the spiritual world. So they are Manjaris, this technical term. Some of you might not have heard. This Manjaris are like intimate maidservants and assistants of Radharani. So these six Goswamis were like Manjaris in the spiritual world. There they engage in the highest service to the Lord by making various arrangements for his pleasure, and at the same time, in the terrestrial realm, they assist Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in making his mission accessible to the world at large. Remembering throughout that the six Goswamis are actually Nitya Siddhas or eternally liberated souls, it becomes easier to understand their Leela, or as they play, as they each externally adopt the guise of ordinary human beings. Their inner meditation is always fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord. Given this reverential perspective, some biographical information can be useful and will not stray our readers from the traditional understanding of the Swami's ontological position. हाँ, तो मैं रिसेंटली सुन रहा था रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी के बारे में कि या उनका जो बर्थ प्लेस है वो बंगाल में ऑब्वियसली सप्तग्राम बोल के डिस्ट्रिक्ट उधर आता है। तो तो जो वैष्णव है ये लोग उनका जन्म स्थान भी काफी इम्पोर्टेंट होता है। तो इट्स नॉट जस्ट मेयरली ठीक है एक प्लेस है जहाँ पे बर्थ लिया ऐसा नहीं, तो उनका बर्थ प्लेस भी काफी इम्पोर्टेंट होता है। मतलब वहाँ पे जाके एंड दैट्स व्हाई वी हैव सो मेनी जहाँ भी बर्थ प्लेस है, मतलब जो हमारे आचार्य हैं बड़े बड़े या फिर जो भी जैसे इनके सिक्स गोस्वामी तो वहाँ पे लोग जाते हैं। इट्स लाइक अ टूरिस्ट प्लेस एंड पीपल गो देयर एंड यू कैन फील दैट यू कैन सी देयर। तो उसका रेफरेंस में मुझे याद आया, एक स्टोरी है एक कहीं पुराण में, मतलब मैं सुना था तो उसमें बता रहे थे वो जैसे पुराण में आता है कि लॉर्ड शिवा और पार्वती वो दोनों एज वी नो कि वो लोग कभी कभी हर इधर उधर जाते हैं तो अर्थ पे भी चलो घूमने चले गए आ गए। तो जा रहे थे तो एक जगह पे वो शिव जी जो है वो कि क्या बोलते हैं उन्होंने प्रणाम ऑफर किया और काफी एक्सटेसी में मतलब थे और some activity was doing which is kind of reverential kind of reverence के साथ। तो मैं पूछा पार्वती ने कि क्या इसका क्या यहाँ क्यों कर रहे हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं, क्या है ये यहाँ पे आज। तो उन्होंने बोला कि यहाँ पे एक महान वैष्णव जो है जन्म लेगा। तो एक्चुअली वो रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी का बर्थ प्लेस, वो लेने वाले थे जन्म, उससे पहले से ही वो प्लेस जो है वो इम्पोर्टेंट हो गए और वहाँ पे वो शिव जी इस तरह से तो यार that by that we can understand क्या पोजीशन में है रघुनाथ दास और ये जो सिक्स गोस्वामी थे कितने एग्जॉल्टेड। So anyway, we'll continue. Raghunath Das, the first of the six Goswamis to meet Sri Chaitanya, was born in a small village called Chandpur, present-day Sri Krishnapur. So it's from Havada. You can take a local train and you can go there. Actually, it नवदीप के पहले आता है वो station I think कुछ है। So located 2 miles from the Saptagram district of Hooghly, West Bengal. An inheritor of vast opulence, Raghunath Das was the fortunate son of the wealthy Govardhan Majumdar, who was considered even at that time a multimillionaire. तो ये जो इनके जो पिताजी थे काफी रिच थे and they were not so to say devotees, but yeah, normal pious. So, so yeah, he was multimillionaire. बट इनको एसोसिएशन बहुत ही सब एग्जॉल्टेड डिवोटीज का मिला था, दैट विल गेट टू नो। तो ये गोवर्धन मजूमदार जो थे was the younger brother of Hiranya, a powerful landowner who, although a caste Shudra, commanded great respect from his peers. In fact, Hussein Shah, the Muslim emperor of Bengal, और ये टाइटल भी उनको इसलिए मिला था आई थिंक, ये मुस्लिम फैमिली मुस्लिम एम्परर जो थे उस टाइम में उनके उनसे कनेक्शन था उनका, काइंड ऑफ एम्प्लॉय काइंड ऑफ। तो इसके लिए मजूमदार के टाइटल में था, मजूमदार का कुछ तो मीनिंग होता है। So in fact, Hussein Shah, the Muslim emperor of Bengal, went so far as to lease Saptagram and its neighboring villages to the two wealthy brothers, Govardhan and Hiranya, even though they were not of Islamic faith. तो या ये सप्तग्राम का तो मतलब लैंड ओनर थे इनको पूरा लीज पे मिला. So in exchange, the two brothers had to annually pay a vast amount that was equal to their own yearly income. Some, how much is this? 12 lakh, 12 lakh rupees. And see to the proper management of their domain. तो ये उनको लैंड मिला था, ये उनका उनके देखरेख में था, उनको वो टैक्स देते थे वो, जो मुस्लिम गवर्नमेंट थी. So why would Govardhan and Hiranya give their entire yearly income for the burden of real estate taxation and finance? The first reason was to appease the Islamic occupational government so that they and their loved ones could worship Lord Krishna unimpeded. Satisfied with their huge financial contribution, the Nawab Hussain Shah left the internal administration of the whole district under their able care, without even nominal interference. तो वो डिस्टर्ब नहीं कर रहे, उनका काम कर रहे हैं ये लोग, उनको वहां के लोगों को डिस्टर्ब नहीं कर रहे हैं, ये जो नवाब हुसैन के लोग थे. Secondly, under this new arrangement, Govardhan and Hiranya had greatly increased their own annual income to 20 lakh rupees and even further by the taxes accumulated from imports and exports. So the brothers had quite a reputation throughout most of Bengal. इनके जो मतलब पिता और चाचा थे, they were very wealthy, had quite some reputation throughout most of Bengal. Not only because of their power and wealth, but also because of their piety and charity. Pious, as I said, were pious, charitable persons. So Sri Chaitanya himself used to refer to them as his uncles, perhaps because of their close friendship with his maternal grandfather Sri नीलांबर चक्रवर्ती. तो इनका चेतन महाप्रभु के जो अ, नाना थे, उनसे रिलेशन था, तो इसके लिए वो भी उनको अंकल बोलते थे. So actual blood relation is not likely, however, as they were Kayas, not likely, however, as they were Kayas and Sri Chaitanya was a Brahmin. So in Raghunath Das Goswami, he belonged to a Kayastha family, and Sri Chaitanya, we know that he was from a Brahmin family, so there was no blood relationship. Nonetheless, young Raghunath Das, unique among the six Goswamis for his birth in a non-Brahmana family, was the only child in the Majumdar household. So in his boyhood, तो ये बचपन से ही इनको इंटरेस्ट नहीं था किसी चीज में, खेलने वेलने में, जैसे बच्चों को रहता है ना, इनको कोई इंटरेस्ट. So in his boyhood, he was instructed in the principles of Vaishnavism by Balaram Acharya, one of the most advanced devotees in Saptagram. तो ये बलराम आचार्य के पास इनको पढ़ने का जो, जैसे हम लोग को जो एजुकेशन टाइप जैसे बोलते हैं, तो ये बलराम आचार्य जो थे, ये एक्चुअली हरिदास ठाकुर के डिसाइपल थे. हरिदास ठाकुर भी ऑल नो, रामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर, और हरिदास ठाकुर इज एक्चुअली डिसाइपल ऑफ श्री अद्वैत आचार्य. तो बलराम आचार्य एक्सटर्नली तो वो ये दिखता था कि हाँ वो पंडित है, टीचर है, स्कॉलर है, बट इंटरनली ही वाज अ ग्रेट डिवोटी. तो उनका इनको एसोसिएशन बचपन से मिला. And that is one of the sign of a great devotee ki they as we also in Bhagavad Gita we see somebody who is advanced, they get born in a family जहाँ पे ट्रांसेंडेंटल devotee है, मतलब या फिर उनको बचपन से एसोसिएशन मिलेगा, तो इनको शुरू से ही देखो बलराम आचार्य who is again directly linked with Haridas Thakur and Advaita Acharya, and और किसका एसोसिएशन मिला इनको, एक कोई यमुनाचार्य थे, वो भी लिंक थे अद्वैताचार्य से. ओके, सो यहाँ पे ये क्या, having received the association of Sri Chaitanya's intimate devotees Haridas Thakur, Balram Acharya was anxious to introduce his young student to the saint. This he did, and Raghunath imbibed the devotional spirit from the ठाकुर. तो बचपन से ही ये हरिदास ठाकुर से ये मिले और उन्होंने ये devotional spirit imbibe किया. As he grew into his teens, Raghunath's piety and spiritual insight grew as well. Soon in 1510, news of Sri Chaitanya's sannyas reached Saptagram. तो 1510 में चेतन महाप्रभु ने संन्यास लिया और ये न्यूज पहुंचा सप्तग्राम. सप्तग्राम भी नो, जहाँ पे ये रघुनाथ दास जो है, जिनका बर्थ प्लेस है, जो उनका एरिया. So having heard that Nityanand Prabhu had diverted Sri Chaitanya from his pilgrimage to Vrindavan and led him instead to nearby Shantipur, Raghunath Das pleaded with his father to let him go and see the great Sri Chaitanya, about whom the Saint Haridas Thakur had told him so much. Obviously, जब उनको हरिदास ठाकुर का एसोसिएशन मिला है तो चेतन महाप्रभु के बारे में बचपन से सुन रहे हैं, एंड वो बहुत ही ईगर थे उनसे मिलने के लिए. So, but the boy was young, merely 15-year-old, and so his rich father was hesitant, skeptical about allowing his well-bred boy association with common religion. As जैसे मैंने बोला, जैसे इनके परिवार वाले कास्ट थे, बट देन जैसे कंसर्न रहता है, अरे ये ज्यादा मिलेंगे सन्यासी लोग से, ये पता नहीं उनका फिर क्या होगा. तो वही चल रहा है, फुल टाइम बन न जाए, तो इसके लिए वो नहीं चाहते थे कि वहां जाए. तो गोवर्धन did not want his only son to renounce the world and leave the family. This was going on. अभी ये कैसे जाएंगे? So nonetheless, Raghunath Das ran away from home and met Sri Chaitanya in Shanti. वो लेकिन फिर भी किसी तरह वो निकल पड़े भागने. So this meeting was emotional and intense. तो यहाँ पे एक चीज ये भी आ रहा है कि ये मीटिंग, वो चैतन्य महाप्रभु उनको देखते ही पहचान. श्री चैतन्य recognized his eternal associate who had finally, in this life, returned to him, and Raghunath Das enthusiastically fell at the Lord's feet, touching them with great devotion as a sign of humility. So this shows कि वो eternal associate है, उनको introduction की जरूरत नहीं है, उन्होंने देखते ही पहचान लिया. और and this emotional जो exchange हो रहा है यहाँ पे, वो feet पे उनके गिर रहे हैं. He was taken, Mahaprabhu also was very emotional. This is, you can imagine. The scene was described by Swami Pradeep Tirth Maharaj, a disciple of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. When the Lord came to Shantipur after his sannyas, Raghunath Das fell prostrate at his lotus feet in a rapture of love when Mahaprabhu touched him with his toe. This exchange deeply moved the two of them. So दोनों ही moved हो गए यहाँ पे आ रहा. This exchange deeply moved the two of them. The Lord is also equally happy seeing his devotee. But after 10 days of intimately associating with the Navadip devotees in Shantipur, Sri Chaitanya left for Jagannath Puri and Raghunath Das returned home. So, yeah, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Puri chale gaye. He had to return home. 4 years later, आई थिंक पता नहीं यहाँ पे इन्होंने बोला या शायद कि उनको साथ में रहना है. हाँ, शायद इन्होंने बोला, बट देन चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने उनको मना किया कि नहीं अभी घर जाओ टाइप से. ये भी शायद आगे आएगा. So 4 years later, when Raghunath Das was almost 19 years old, Sri Chaitanya returned to Shantipur. Raghunath Das was more enthusiastic than ever to attain the association of Sri Chaitanya. When Govardhan realized that he was not able to control his son, he resigned himself to the boy's fate and allowed him exposure to the life of renunciation and spirituality, but he cautioned Raghunath Das to be on guard and to return home after a brief visit. तो या उन्होंने वो काफी यहाँ पे आ रहा है कि वो मिलना चाह रहे थे बट ऑब्वियसली वो उनके पिताजी उनके फैमिली में चाहती नहीं थी एज वी कि माता पिता को जो कंसर्न रहता है लेकिन फिर भी उनके डिटर्मिनेशन को देख के उन्होंने अलाउ किया बट अलाउ इस बात पे किया कि हैव टू रिटर्न होम आफ्टर अ ब्रीफ विजिट सो बाय दिस जंक्चर इन श्री चैतन्य ये 4 साल बाद हो रहा है एक तो यहाँ पे सिर्फ रघुनाथ दास की स्टोरी आ रही है इसलिए यहाँ पे सीधा 4 साल का जो है वो गैप आ गया क्योंकि फर्स्ट टाइम मिले उसके बाद फिर वापस पूरी उरी चले गए थे फिर वापस और फिर साउथ इंडिया भी चले गए थे बीच में तो वापस जब आए हैं तो ये 4 साल के बाद शांतिपुर तो वो ये मीटिंग हो रही है तो या सो उन्होंने अलाउ किया ठीक है जाओ बट यू कम होम उनके पिता ने So by this juncture in Sri Chaitanya's career, it may be noted he had completed his famous tour of South India. Yeah, it is coming. And had met Rupa and Sanatan Goswami at Ramakhet. तो या सनातन रूप से मिल चुके थे यहाँ पे आने के पहले 4 साल के बाद So he had achieved a considerable amount of renown as a saint and even as an avatar. So by this time he was quite famous. Uh, he has already gained followers and he was already Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is known as an avatar. So Govardhan thus felt a little more secure in letting his young Raghunath Das associate with Sri Chaitanya and his followers. तो सिंस अभी पता चलेगा कि हाँ भाई ये कौन है इनकी एक होता है कि हाँ इनकी स्टेटस समझ में आ गई है चैतन्य महाप्रभु की दैट्स व्हाई ही अलाउड ठीक है जाओ मिल के आ जाओ बट फर्स्ट टाइम ही वाज नॉट अवेयर थिंग्स तो इसके लिए वो so anyway so the boy was sent to Shantipur with princely escorts. Upon his arrival, he immediately went to the home of Advaita Acharya, where Sri Chaitanya had stayed during their first meeting and where he was now again staying. Tears of love flowed from Raghunath Das's eyes as he saw the form of Sri Chaitanya, who smiled at Raghunath Das as if seeing an old friend. तो ये अद्वैत आचार्य के घर पे रुके हुए थे चैतन्य महाप्रभु जहाँ पे ये आए and he was just after seeing him he was started आंसू उनके आंखों से निकलने लगे and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also reciprocated with a smile. So these are emotional exchanges going on. So although Raghunath Das was still eager to renounce family and riches, Sri Chaitanya encouraged him to return home. Lord Krishna will direct you toward renunciation at the proper time, Sri Chaitanya told him. For now, live as if you were a worldly man. And so after approximately 6 days, Raghunath Das returned to Satyagram. हाँ तो ये सॉरी फर्स्ट मीटिंग में नहीं सेकेंड मीटिंग में ही वांटेड कि वो चैतन्य महाप्रभु के साथ वो हो ले he did not want to return home but उनको चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने बोला घर जाने के so this is also by this it shows कि renunciation doesn't mean कि that you have to leave your home it should be from your heart actually you should be renounced so okay so a thoroughly changed person young Raghunath Das proceeded to take Sri Chaitanya's instruction to heart. He responsibly managed his father's estate and married a girl of unexcelled beauty. In this way, he externally lived a charmed life of opulence, while deep in his soul he longed for the day when he could renounce everything and live the simple life in his city. So we can see if Raghunath Das की लाइफ से कि यहाँ पे उनके पास एक तो ऑब्वियसली वो रिच थे ऑपुलेंट थे और उनकी लड़का भाग न जाए शादी करा दी गई और बहुत ही सुंदर थी जैसा यहाँ पे डिस्क्रिप्शन आता है शी वॉज वेरी ब्यूटिफुल बट स्टिल ही वॉज नॉट not in least attached. कुछ थोड़ा भी अटैचमेंट नहीं था, कुछ भी नहीं था उनको. He was, as यहाँ पे आ रहा है देखो, कि his, while deep in his soul he longed for the day when he could renounce everything. So he was totally renounced. So Raghunath's worldly life was to last only 2 years. However, for a calamity overtook the Majumdar family. The former governor of Saptagram, Ashraya, had a grudge against Hiranya and Govardhan, for when they had taken over the district, they had unintentionally usurped his possessions. Okay. Seeking vengeance and trying to ingratiate himself to Nawab Hussain Shah, the ex-governor informed the Nawab that although Hiranya and Govardhan were annually paying him 12 lakh rupees, they were in fact holding back quite a bit more for themselves. तो किसी ने कंप्लेन कर दिया इनके बारे में, इनके पिता और अंकल के बारे में, जो करंट नवाब हुसैन साहब थे, पुराने गवर्नर, ये लोग पैसा मार रहे हैं इस टाइप से, चोरी कर, मतलब ये आपसे ज्यादा ले रहे हैं, आपको नहीं दे रहे हैं, इस टाइप का जो भी कंप्लेन चल रहा है. So in addition, he cautioned the Nawab that they had grown very powerful and might prove dangerous to the Islamic occupational government. तो ये इन्होंने कंप्लेन कर दिया कि ये लोग तो पैसे बना लिए हैं और इनका काफी पावरफुल भी हो गए हैं, तो देख लो आप जरा. So consequently, the Nawab sent a team of soldiers to arrest the Majumdar family. Govardhan was away on a trip and Hiranya had fled upon receiving news of the rapidly approaching troops. तो या हिरण्य भाग गए और गोवर्धन जो है वो already away थे. So only Raghunath Das was still present when the soldiers arrived. Hiranya had told Raghunath Das about the impending doom, but the faithful Raghunath Das was unconcerned. तो ये था पोजीशन रघुनाथ दास का. He was literally not at all bothered क्या चल रहा है, वो मतलब ही नहीं थी. वो ठीक है, वो आए पकड़ने के लिए, पकड़ के ले गए, उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ा. ठीक है, हिरण्य उनको बताया कि भाग लो, लेकिन फिर भी उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ा. He was unconcerned. He knew that his Lord would protect him. Still, when the soldiers arrived, they arrested him, and he quietly went with them to Gauda, the then capital of Bengal, Gauda Desh. So he went to Bengal, Gauda, capital of Bengal. So brought before the king, Raghunath Das was asked to divulge the whereabouts of his father and uncle, but he honestly did not know, and this is what he told his captors. उनको पता ही नहीं था तो क्या बताते. He was not concerned कि कौन क्या कर रहा है. So at first the king decided to have him tortured, but after hearing Raghunath Das deliver a magnificent soliloquy, I don't know how to say that, soliloquy on the virtues of kindness and the brotherhood of man under God, the king was moved to tears. तो ऑब्वियसली उनको पकड़ तो लिया, बट जो सेंटली पर्सन है, जो जेन्युइन, उनको इवन जो एनिमिकल होते हैं वो भी मूव्ड हो जाते हैं उनके सेंटिनेस को देख के. जैसे हमारा इस सॉन्ग में भी आता है, कृष्णोत कीर्तन गान नर्तन प्रभु धीरा धीर जन प्रिय प्रिय करो. धीर और अधीर दोनों को ही प्रिय थे. तो जो धीर मीन्स ऑब्वियसली जो अच्छे लोग हैं, जो अधीर मतलब उल्टा हो गया, जो एनवियस एनिमिकल, तो दोनों को ही प्रिय थे. तो ये भी, ये लोग भी मूव्ड हो गए इनको देख के, रघुनाथ दास को. So appreciating that Raghunath was a great devotee of the Lord, the king knew that his talk was from the heart, and so he not only released him but accepted him as his very own son. An amicable arrangement was then made regarding the financial situation of Hiranya and Govardhan. about which the original entire problem had originated. तो जिस कारण से प्रॉब्लम हुआ था कि पैसे वैसे लिए हैं इन्होंने, इनके अंकल ने, तो एक तो इनको छोड़ा भी, इनको अच्छे से भेजा, उनको सन भी एक्सेप्ट किया, और फाइनेंशियल जो वो भी असिस्टेंस दिया, फाइनेंशियली भी उनको और हेल्प किया. दिस इज द इफेक्ट. So soon after this incident, one of Sri Chaitanya's most intimate associates, Nityanand Prabhu, came to Panihati, a village 4 miles north of Calcutta. So this is important event. ये फैक्ट्री सेलिब्रेट भी होता है ये कि नित्यानंद प्रभु से ये मिले थे यहाँ पे. पानीहटी बोल के एक गांव था वहां पे, which is close to Sattagram. So with him, ओके सो तो यहाँ पे नित्यानंद प्रभु आए थे उनके साथ में, डेवोटीज के साथ ढेर सारी इस जगह पे. With him an entourage of hundreds of devotees gathered to glorify God with the timbrel and dance and the high sounding cymbals. In this way, Nityanand Prabhu passed 3 months spreading Sri Chaitanya's mission of devotional love and gaining followers from neighboring villages. Raghunath thus heard of Nityanand Prabhu's success in Panihati. The young Goswami wanted to meet Nityanand Prabhu and serve his lotus feet, for he knew that one could only get the mercy of Sri Chaitanya by first pleasing his eternal associate. तो रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी मिलने जा रहे हैं नित्यानंद प्रभु से. एंड यहाँ पे आ रहा है कि one could get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only first if he first pleases Nityanand Prabhu. So to this end, Raghunath Das kept trying to run away from home, but he was consistently dragged back by his father. So finally relenting, Govardhan gave permission for Raghunath to see the great Nityananda, and the Goswami quickly set out for Panihati. तो अगेन यहाँ पे देख रहे हैं नित्यानंद प्रभु से मिलने जा रहे हैं, बट उनके फादर उनको परमिशन नहीं दे रहे हैं. एंड देन ही रिलेंटेड. तो ये इंटरेस्टिंग पास टाइम है. तो यहाँ पे व्हेन रघुनाथ दास arrived, he found Nityanand Prabhu sitting on a large rock beneath a magnificent banyan tree. He looked effulgent, surrounded by hundreds of dedicated devotees. Raghunath Das, approaching these great souls, was embarrassed, for in his humility he felt guilty about acting like an ordinary materialist. तो वो ये ऑब्वियसली ये ब्रिज फैमिली को बिलोंग कर रहे हैं और लोग यहाँ पे भोग में लगे हुए हैं, ऑपुलेंटली रह रहे हैं, तो इनको बहुत बुरा लग रहा था इनके सामने आने में कि मैं तो ऑर्डिनरी मटेरियलिस्ट हूँ. ही वॉज फीलिंग गिल्टी, रघुनाथ दास. तो sensing Raghunath Das' state of mind, Nityanand Prabhu decided to lovingly joke with him. And so, as Raghunath came forward, the following words emanated from Nityanand Prabhu's lips. You are a thief, Raghunath Das. Come here and I'll now punish you. ये बोल रहे हैं कि तुम चोर हो, आओ इधर. वो पनिशमेंट देने के लिए बुला रहे हैं. अभी क्यों चोर बोल रहे हैं, that we'll get to. So Raghunath Das naturally became reluctant to approach him. Nonetheless, Nityanand Prabhu caught hold of Raghunath Das and forcibly placed his feet on his head. All the devotees laughed as they saw Nityanand Prabhu's punishment turn into a humorous benediction. Further punishing Raghunath Das, Nityanand Prabhu gave him the following order. Prepare a big festival and feed all of the devotees with yogurt and chipped rice. तो यहाँ पे ये फीस्ट हुआ था. अभी भी ये 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 सेलिब्रेट करते हैं डेवोटी. इसमें चिवड़ा जो होता है, चिप्ड राइस जिसे पोहा बोलते हैं, का और वो दही पिला के। तो वो उधर अपना झारखंड और बंगाल, ये झारखंड ये सब में काफी फेमस है। लोग इवन ब्रेकफास्ट पे रेगुलर भी खाते हैं। मेरे साइड भी हो मतलब चिवड़ा और दही। तो वो उन्होंने बोला चिवड़ा चिवड़ा और दही का फीस्ट देने को। Prepare a big festival and feed all the devotees with yogurt and chipped rice. Hearing this, Raghunath was greatly pleased. Finally able to use his wealth in the service of the Lord, he immediately sent some of his servants to purchase the necessary ingredients. तो ये क्यों हुआ था? ये उन्होंने चोर इसलिए बोला था, आई थिंक ये पता नहीं है कि नहीं, बट ये चोर इसलिए बोला क्योंकि ये बिना नित्यानंद प्रभु के he was actually trying to take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's why jokingly इनको ये बोल रहे हैं. So that kind of shows कि one should approach नित्यानंद प्रभु. इवन घर से भी इनको भागना है, इनको सक्सेस नहीं मिल रहा था, लेकिन जब नित्यानंद प्रभु से मिले then he became success. तो ये भी बोलते हैं आई मीन कि बिना नित्यानंद प्रभु के हेल्प के not going to work. So and Nityanand Prabhu is also, we know, he's like Balaram, so he's like Guru Tattva. So that's why one have to approach Krishna through Guru. So that's why Nityanand Prabhu जो वहाँ पे तो चोर बोल रहे हैं lovingly. But obviously Raghunath Das Goswami की पोजीशन अलग है, वो तो eternal associate. But still he's saying to him like, आ जाओ इधर. So soon the area was inundated by vast quantities of chipped rice, yogurt, milk, pastries, sugar, bananas, and assorted savories. Just to take part in the jubilant festivities, priests, laymen, and other pilgrims came from miles around. Seeing the crowd increasing, Raghunath Das arranged to acquire more provisions from the neighboring villages. He also brought some 400 large round earthen pots for soaking the chipped rice. Together in a cooperative spirit, the devotees prepared the feast, and while so doing, they chanted the holy name with great ecstasy. तो ये arrangement चल रहा है. So in addition to the countless devotees attending the festival were Nityanand Prabhu and other intimate associates of Sri Chaitanya. These intimate associates were each given a seat on a raised platform, as was the etiquette, and the other devotees sat around them. तो ये भी यहाँ पे आ रहा है कि इनको एक रेज्ड प्लेटफॉर्म दिया सिटिंग के लिए, एंड देन सो दैट और बाकी लोग जो है वो एक साथ मतलब एक कॉमन. So that's also one of the important etiquette that we should take care of कि अगर हम कोई सीनियर वैष्णव को ला रहे हैं, इनको बैठने को बोल रहे हैं, we should see कि we are giving him a raised seat. खासकर व्यास आसन पे जब वो बोल रहे हैं तो उनका जो व्यास आसन है एक्चुअली कॉमन लोग जो बैठे हैं उसकी उससे ज्यादा हाइट का होना चाहिए. So everyone was then offered two earthen pots. One pot containing chipped rice with condensed milk, and the other contained chipped rice with yogurt. So चिवड़ा दूध and चिवड़ा dahi दोनों भी है. So other contained chipped rice with yogurt. The devotees ate to their full satisfaction and shouted Hari Bol, chant the names of Hari, chant the names of the Lord. At this time, by the will of Nityanand Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya mystically appeared on the scene. Only those devotees who were accomplished in spiritual realization were able to perceive Sri Chaitanya's presence. Both Sri Chaitanya and Nityanand Prabhu enjoyed seeing the devotees eating the chipped rice, yogurt, and condensed milk. Walking along the path where the devotees were sitting and eating, Nityanand Prabhu took a morsel of the each. Nityanand Prabhu took a morsel of each devotee's plate and playfully put it in Sri Chaitanya's mouth. देखो क्या कर रहे हैं. नित्यानंद प्रभु सारे डेवोटी के प्लेट से लेके वो चैतन्य महाप्रभु के मुंह में डाल. Reciprocating, Sri Chaitanya did the same to Nityanand Prabhu. Raghunath Das relished watching this exchange. After the feast, Raghunath Das liberally distributed gold and jewels to the devotees present, but they were indifferent to everything except their loving relationship with Raghunath Das and Nityanand Prabhu. This whole incident came to be known as Danda Mahotsav. Dand as in means punishment. तो ये punishment मिला था उनको कि भाई punishment में अभी चलो खिलाओ सबको party अभी so which means ironically the festivity of punishment. Danda Mahotsav. To this day, pilgrims travel annually to Panihati in commemoration of the chipped rice Danda Mahotsav festival. It is celebrated on the 13th day of bright moon in the month of Jyesht, May, June. Before returning to Saptagram, Raghunath Das was fortunate enough to have an intimate conversation with Nityanand Prabhu while only a few other devotees were present. Approaching with humility, Raghunath Das uttered the following words: I am the lowest of men, the most sinful, fallen, and condemned. Nevertheless, I truly desire to attain the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like a dwarf who wants to catch the moon, I have tried my best many times, but I have never been successful. Every time I tried to run away and give up family relationships, my parents unfortunately kept me bound up, sometimes by force. See, हाँ ये आ रहा है यहाँ पे ये इनकी conversation चल रही है and he's saying that कि मैं कितना sinful हूँ, fallen हूँ, and I tried to take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like a dwarf who wants to catch the moon, and I tried my best many times, but I failed. So, without your mercy, Raghunath Das continued, no one can attain the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. तो ये सभी बोलते हैं कि अगर आपको किसी को फुल टाइम ब्रह्मचारी बनना है, you don't pray to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, rather you pray to Nityananda Prabhu. Anyway, that becoming brahmachari is not the goal, but yeah, we want to get, but yeah, it facilitates, becomes easier. So yeah, without your mercy, Raghunath Das continued, no one can attain the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But if you are merciful, even the lowest of men can attain shelter at his lotus feet. And Nityanand Prabhu is in fact even more said to be more merciful than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No one can attain the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but if you are merciful, even the lowest of men can attain shelter at his lotus feet. Although I am unfit and greatly afraid to submit this plea, I nonetheless request you, Nityanand Prabhu, to be especially merciful toward me by granting me shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In conclusion, Raghunath Das cried, placing your feet on my head, give me the benediction that I may achieve the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without difficulty. I fervently pray for this benediction. Hearing this humble and devotional plea, Nityanand Prabhu smiled, feeling great satisfaction. As he turned to the other devotee, he said, Raghunath Das is accustomed to a standard of material happiness that is equal to Indra's. तो इंद्र के समान opulence था इनके पास, लेकिन फिर भी he was least interested, least attached, attracted. Because of the mercy already bestowed upon him by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Raghunath Das, although situated in such material happiness, does not like it at all. Because of the mercy already bestowed upon him by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Raghunath Das, although situated in such material happiness, does not like it at all. Therefore, Therefore, let every one of you be merciful toward him and give him the benediction that he may very soon attain full shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. यहाँ पे ये भी आ रहा है कि बिना नित्यानंद प्रभु and बिना वैष्णवों के मर्सी के you cannot get mercy of Krishna. यहाँ पे नित्यानंद प्रभु उनको बोल रहे हैं कि वैष्णवों को बोल रहे हैं कि भाई तुम लोग इसको all of you, every one of you, be merciful toward him and give him the benediction that he may very soon attain full shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya. And it is said कि रघुनाथ दास जो थे वो डेली वो 1000 वैष्णव को दंडवत प्रणाम करते थे. Not physically he was offering obeisances, but mentally he was actually remembering 1000 Vaishnavas और उनको mentally फिर दंडवत. So that's why it's very important to get Vaishnavas mercies. So in this way, Raghunatha Prabhu acquired for Raghunath Das the blessings of the assembled devotees, and then he cited scripture so that the devotees could ascertain Raghunath's level of spiritual advancement. Next, Nityanand Prabhu called Raghunath Das near him and placed his feet on his head. Blessing Raghunath Das in this way, Nityanand Prabhu kindly let him know that Sri Chaitanya appeared at the Panihati festival merely to show him favor. तो चैतन्य महाप्रभु के बारे में बता रहे हैं कि वो भी आए थे भी फेस्टिवल में पानीहटी वाला जो हुआ अभी वो सिर्फ तुम्हारे लिए आए. So further, Nityanand Prabhu informed him that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually ate the chipped rice and milk that Raghunath Das himself prepared. So this is not something very, um, this is very common. I mean, this is not very something very common. ये बहुत बड़ी बात है कि उन्होंने वो आए और उन्होंने खुद से उनका जो ऑफरिंग उन्होंने भी बनाया था वो खाया. हमारे लिए एक बस एक फूड आइटम हो जाता है हम किसी को ऑफर कर रहे हैं खाए बट एक्चुअली सम senior even some senior Vaishnava accept our offer that's a big thing actually. So finally Nityanand Prabhu gave him an indication of what was to occur in the near future. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will fully accept you and place you under the charge of his secretary Swarup Damodar. उन्होंने बता दिया उनको कि वो आपको he'll accept you in future, near future. You will thus become one of the Lord's most confidential and internal servants, being assured of this return to your home. Very soon, without impediments, you will attain the full shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After hearing this, Raghunath Das returned to Satyakam. See, अभी तक वो खुद से ट्राई कर रहे थे घर को भी मना रहे थे घर वालों को भी जो भी है सब चल रहा था उनका कश कश बट यहाँ पे उनको नित्यानंद प्रभु की मर्सी मिल गई ब्लेसिंग मिल गई वैष्णव की मर्सी मिल गई then now things will be clear. The obstacles will be cleared up. This time he could not even feign material interest. Previously, पहले तो वो चल रहा था उनका शादी वादी करा दी गई है वो घर पे रह रहे हैं तो he was basically it is story है कि किस तरह से तो इवन हम भी हमको भी सीखना हमको भी हो सकता है हम भी मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में ऑब्वियसली हमारे बहुत सारे आउटवर्ल्डली ड्यूटीज हैं फैमिली में ड्यूटीज हैं ये वो वी कैन एक्चुअली पेन पेन मीन्स यहाँ पे क्या होता है मतलब प्रिटेंड बेसिकली ठीक है बस ड्यूटी कर रहे हैं बट इंटरनली वी शुड नॉट बी अटैच्ड टू एनी ऑफ दोस इंटरनली तो बस जैसे रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी फुल ही रहना इतना सब कुछ होने के बाद ही बस फुल ही रहना तो यू वी कैन ऑब्वियसली तो दिस शोज की एक्सटर्नली रिनाउंस करना उतना इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है जितना कि एक्चुअली वो जितना हमारा भगवान के प्रति अट्रैक्शन होगा जैसे यहाँ पे कहते महाप्रभु मतलब वो ऑटोमेटिकली जो है वो renunciation develop हो जाता है. So it's the important thing is to develop attraction. वो जो renunciation है वो secondary automatically achieve हो जाता है. This time he could not even feign material interest. अभी तक तो किसी तरह वो रह ले रहे थे घर में. अभी मिलने के बाद ये सब होने के बाद he was not even able to feign material interest. Previously, under Sri Chaitanya's order, he had pretended to be a pounds and shillings man. But now, having received the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, he was God intoxicated and he could not control himself. अभी उनसे control ही नहीं हो रहा. Again and again, he tried to escape from his father's palace to preach among the common people and to live the life of an ascetic. But his attempts were to no avail. Govardhan hired a large body of guards to specifically watch over Raghunath Das, and these able men always dragged him back to the palace. ये बार बार भागने की कोशिश करते थे और इन्होंने उनके पिता ने बॉडीगार्ड्स लगा के रखे थे वॉच करने के लिए. बार बार पकड़ के लेते आते हैं. और इनकी माँ ऑब्वियसली रो धो रही कि अरे ये क्या हो गया मेरे बच्चे क्या करें. ऑब्वियसली फिर एज रिजल्ट शादी वादी करा दी गई थी. So lamenting, his mother once suggested in total frustration that perhaps he should be tied to a pillar with a rope. After all, she said, he may one day escape the attention of the guards. तो यहाँ पे इम्पोर्ट यहाँ पे आ रहा है कि but to this impractical suggestion came Govardhan's now historic reply. ये काफी famous है. If the attraction of vast wealth and a wife whose beauty is of celestial proportion cannot bind him to this kingdom, do you really think a slender rope can do it? मतलब बोल रहे हैं कि ये इंद्र जैसा ये वेल्थ और ये अप्सरा जैसी ब्यूटी वाली वाइफ they cannot bind him. So do you think ये rope से bind हो जाएंगे? So in due course, Raghunath Das received his chance to escape. तो ये कैसे भागे उसमें भी है कि पहले क्या ये भागते थे तो या तो ये पूरी की तरफ जाते थे या तो फिर वृंदावन वाले रास्ते में जाते थे. तो बार बार बॉडी गार्ड्स लोग पकड़ लेते थे. तो जब भागे थे ये जब लास्ट फाइनली जब भागने में सक्सेस हुए थे तो ये एक्चुअली जंगल की ओर भागे जो झारखंड बंगाल से सट के झारखंड तो उधर जंगल की ओर भागे थे कि वो पकड़ ना पाए. समझना है मतलब वो ऑब्वियसली उधर ही जाएंगे मेन रोड की तरफ तो ऑब्वियसली इजी रहेगा पकड़ना. तो इस टाइम वो जंगल की ओर भागे. हाँ तो यहाँ पे यदुनंदन आचार्य आ रहा है. ये यदुनंदन आचार्य जो थे ये या वॉज द फैमिली गुरु एंड प्रीस्ट. ये कुल गुरु थे इनके फैमिली के. So and on one particular occasion, he took Raghunath Das with him to perform a religious ritual. कैसे भागे वो आ रहे हैं. The family, of course, had full trust in their guru, and so the guards went to sleep early that evening, reassured that Raghunath Das was in safe hands. But Raghunath Das was not to be underestimated. He succeeded in convincing the guru that he could continue the prescribed ritual alone, and the simple, faithful teacher allowed him to do so. This was Raghunath's chance, and he knew it. Since no guards or concerned family members were anywhere in sight, he decided to seize the opportunity, even though it was by then late in the evening. Traveling at तो रात हो गई थी लेकिन फिर भी वो चल ली भाग लिए अंधेरे में. तो इस लेवल का उनका डेडिकेट अट्रैक्शन था भगवान के प्रति समर्पण. He did not bother the jungle हो क्या. So traveling at first from village to village, Raghunath Das eventually decided to go through the jungles. For in this way, his father and the family guards would not be able to follow him. Meditating on Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu, he decided to go toward Jagannath Puri. For at this time, July, this time of year, July, all the devotees would converge there for the annual Rath Yatra festival. He walked about 30 miles in one day, and then he came upon a barn in which he decided to sleep. Meanwhile, back in Saptagram, the Majumdar guards, servants, and watchmen went to Yadunandan Acharya to inquire about the whereabouts of Raghunath Das. When the elderly guru naively told his story, Everyone realized what had happened. Now Raghunath has taken the opportunity and has gone away. Raghunath's father, Govardhan, was wise. He knew that devotees from all over Bengal would be going to Puri for the Rath Yatra festival. He said to his guards, Raghunath Das has fled to Puri to be with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. वो समझ गए कि ये पूरी गया है ये लड़का. 10 of our best men should immediately go to catch him and bring him back. Undoubtedly, he is traveling with Shivananda Sain, for he is in the charge of devotees pilgrimage to Puri. तो ये शिवानंद सेन बोल के थे डेवोटी. वो ये पिलग्रिमेज यात्रियों का सॉरी डेवोटीज को लेके जाते थे ये. तो उनको लगा उनके साथ में गए होंगे. So in this way, Govardhan wrote a letter to Shivanand Sen asking him to please return my son. This letter was sent with the 10 men. But Shivananda replied that Raghunath Das had never joined him in his pilgrimage, which was of course true, and the 10 guards thus returned empty-handed. Raghunath's mother and father were overtaken with grief. Where could they turn? Should they send with their guards to far away from Jagannath Puri? Perhaps Raghunath Das never went to Puri. Perhaps he was hurt. Perhaps he needed them. तो इनको चल रहा था पता नहीं कहाँ गया ये. So meanwhile, it's 8 o'clock. Shall we continue or what? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Any comments till now?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Uh, Yeah, one very important point is about the mercy of Vaishnavas, the devotees, and the Lord. How
Yeah.
even the Lord is saying to the Vaishnavas to bless. These blessings, I think, is not only important, but it is the only way. With one's endeavor, one cannot actually um, get the mercy also.
Yes, Prabhu. Any anything else? No? Or shall I continue or what? Or shall I stop? तो क्या हरे कृष्णा.
प्रभु जी कल से कंटिन्यू कर लेते हैं ना.
ओके ठीक है. हाँ वी कैन स्टॉप. कल से यहाँ से कंटिन्यू करते हैं. वी हैव सीन दैट रघुनाथ दास जो है उनको गार्ड सॉरी भाग चुके हैं एंड दे आर एक्चुअली सर्चिंग हिम. ठीक है. 52 पेज. ओके सो विल कंटिन्यू टुमारो. अभी हम ये कर लेते हैं. दामोदराष्टकम कर लेते हैं. Let me share my screen. Screen to share किया है. दामोदराष्टकम. Who wants to sing? कोई गाना चाहते हैं? हरे कृष्णा. Shravanti Mataji, Rishika Mataji, anyone, Anisha Mataji. ठीक है, आज मैं ही कर लेता हूँ. नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपम् लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले विराजमानम् यशोदाभियोलोकलाघवमानम् परामृष्टमाद्यां ततो नित्यगोप्या रुदन्तं मुहुर्नित्यं युग्मं यजन्तम् करम्बोजयुग्मेन शातं प्रनेत्रम् मोहश्वासकं पात्रीरेखान्तकण्ठ चित्तग्रैवं दामोदरं भक्तिभक्तम् इति द्रक्ष्यलीला श्रीरानन्दकुण्डे स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तम् आख्यापयन्तम् तदीयेषु तज्ञेषु भक्तर्जितत्वम् पुनः प्रेमतस्तं शतावति वन्दे वरं देवं मोक्षं न मोक्षावधिं वा न चन्यं विनेहं वरिषदपीह इदं ते वपुर्नाथ गोपालबालम् सदा मे मनस्य आविष्टविरस्तं किं मन्ये इदं ते मुखाम्बोजम् अत्यन्तमीलय वितं कुन्कुदैः स्निग्ध रक्तैश्च गोप्य मोहश्चुम्बितं बिम्बरक्ताधरं मे मनस्याविरास्तं मलं लक्षलाभै नमो देवदामोदरानन्त विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःखजलधिमग्नम् कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्यातिदिनं बतानु गृहाणि क्षमामज्ञं नित्यक्षिदृश्य कुबेरात्मजौ बद्धमुत्वैव यद्वा त्वया मूर्छितो भक्तिभाजौ कृतौ च तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वक्षमे प्रयच्छ न मोक्षे ग्रहो मेऽस्ति नमोदरेह नमस्ते स्तुदाम्ने स्फुरद्दीप्तिधाम्ने त्वदीयोदरायाथ विश्वस्वधाम्ने नमो राधिकायै त्वदीयप्रियायै नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम् हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. कल तीसरा पढ़ा था ना शायद हमने. Fourth. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the nine processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as Balagopal in Vrindavan may ever be manifest in my heart, for what is the use to me of any other boon besides? Okay, well, read 10 offenses as well. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master, to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic person. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to vain imagination, to give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in Vedas as spiritual activities, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name, to not have complete faith in chanting of the holy name, and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna praying. Let us offer our humble obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desired trees and who can fulfill all desires and are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned soul. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhye